see if I've just solved a problem. You know this issue I have with making tall moulds, and I need to stick 2 mould making frames together or find a suitable sized pot to make them in. Well, people kept saying you can get mould frames that have got the joiny bit both sides. I thought, oh, that's good. So let's see. Oh, it's neat. Is that small? I think that's smaller than my existing one. Don't know. Anyway, yes, obviously to make tall ones I thought, well, I might need 2. So here we are, we have 2. I bought 2. They're quite cheap anyway. Got your clips, got all your plastic bits. Right, join me for a play. We're going to be making moulds using this new mould making frame. The one set was about £11 something, I think. Free postage, good old Amazon. So I bought 2. Yeah, right, let's have a go. First thing to note is this is one of the pieces of my original kit, which is from the Epoxy Resin one, and what I'm seeing is size wise it's about the same width, and it's just a tiny fraction shorter. I mean, we're talking, what, 1 millimetre, 2 millimetres. It's a lot thinner that way. Not that I think that makes any difference. Anyway, let's assemble these. I need to make a pyramid, so it makes sense to get on and put this together. So, as they're basically the same size as my previous kit, let's see how tightly they fit together. This is cheap, remember? This is a cheap kit. So I'm not expecting it to kind of be as, you know, cleverly fitted and all that sort of thing as my original one. Yeah, look, there's a bit of going on there. Okay, pushing the clamp right in tight. Yeah, that looks okay. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is this doesn't appear to fit together as neatly as the Epoxy Resin one. It probably still work though, so we'll see. So the next layer, just going to do the same again. It looks and feels nothing like the quality of the Epoxy Resin one, but it does this 2-story trick, so let's see if it works. Because if it does, well, for me, for one, that's a useful trick. Obviously trying to line it up nicely. But yeah, I don't know if you can see this. There are gaps. Now, you don't get gaps with the Epoxy Resin one. However, we shall see. We shall see. So, I've got a bit of old transfer tape here, which I'm going to use to stick it down onto. Yep, that's that. Right, we're going to put our little pyramid in. Now, I've been needing to do this for a while. This one's an order for someone, and I've been kind of struggling with it. Now, the reason I've been struggling with it is because I ran out of silicone and I couldn't get hold of my supply of the big bottles. And I thought, well, I'm not doing it all in little bits with small bottles. That's just really annoying. Then my original got damaged, and it's just been basically a bit of a comedy of errors. So I'm just very grateful that the lady who I'm making it for has been so patient. Right, the silicone I'm using, my usual, my go-to silicone, because it's lovely and it's soft, the Resin one. It's so easy to use. It's a 1-to-1. It's translucent, so if you're making small stuff that you want to use with UV resin, it's good for that too. So I'm just mixing it up. It also degasses itself, so I never fret about bubbles, because you know me, always stir too fast, loads of bubbles. Right, I hope I've stirred that enough. Just going to chuck it in. Now the reason I'm not going all the way up is because I've got some little bungs that I want to put in, and I need them to be part way up. Now the reason is I'm just trying to cut down on the weight. Yes, save silicone because it's expensive stuff. I'm lucky I don't usually have to buy silicone, but if I'm making it for customer order rather than for one of my videos, then I do buy it because that feels the right way to do it. And but even more importantly is the postage costs. This is going to be heavy with the best will in the world, so if I can save a little bit of silicone and importantly from a costings point of view for my customer some weight, then that's got to be a good thing. Right, I'm not seeing any leakages so far, but then I have just put that in. Now, have I gone up far enough? Yeah, a little bit further maybe. So I'll mix up just a little bit more and put a bit more in. I'll show you what I mean about the bungs in a minute. I have shown this on another video, so it won't come as any surprise to those of you who are regular viewers. If you want to see a sort of a more detailed breakdown of what I'm doing and the whys and wherefores and some top tips, I'll put you a link to the original video where I made this pyramid mould at the end of this video. Now that one will tell you my top tips for perfect mould making every time. And in that video I used the other mould making frame, the Resin one, that doesn't do the true story thing quite so easily, but it still works. So if you want to see how I do that as well, then go take a look at that video. Just say I explain and share a lot more tips. This is more about just testing this frame. Okay, so that's brought it up a bit more. So I'm going to let that mostly cure, not completely, because I want to make sure the two layers bond. But I am going to give it maybe 2-3 hours. It usually cures and becomes quite firm. You can almost demold it in a couple of hours, but for a big mould like this in particular, I tend to leave it a good few hours just to be on the safe side. Don't know how many hours it's supposed to take. I always find things are a lot quicker than they say they're going to be. Right, I'll see you later. Right then, so that's reasonably set. Observations leak-wise, while my transfer tape sort of worked, I've got a little bit of leakage. There's nothing coming out around the sides much though that I can see, which is interesting considering I was worried about the gaps. Anyway, just going to pop my little bungs in. So this is just to reduce the amount of weight and the amount of silicone we've got going on here. Now they're quite chunky bungs that I made. These are ones out of the bottom of the original mould from my first pyramid. I'm planning to make some more of these, smaller ones, so that I can go in between as well. So I just need to make sure I'm not too close to the pyramid or too close to the outside. But because the silicone is nice and tacky still, they're going to stay in place. Yeah, I must have got the pyramid slightly over to one side, mustn't I guess. Okay, that's good enough, good enough. Need to be sure I can get silicone down all around it. Right, let's get some more mixed up. And away we go. And I've got my new levelling table under here, so I should be sure of it being level. Some as you may know from previous videos, my previous one, I hadn't had it long, only a few months, but it somehow kept unlevelling itself. It's just been kind of unscrewing its own, you know, I don't know. I can't get my head around how that works, because it's done by screwing out these little legs until you get the height that you want. And it's got a spirit level in the middle. And I took it off my mat and looked, and it was off again. I've checked that the table hasn't moved, my actual desk, and that hasn't moved. So I don't know. It's a mystery to me. But I've had to adjust it again several times recently. Not helped by the fact that a couple of my moulds aren't level either, which is really annoying, especially as they were incredibly expensive ones. Okay, we've got our silicone mixed up. As always, I'm stirring fast. Don't worry about the bubbles. If it was a really awkward shape that might trap bubbles, then I would worry. But it isn't, so I don't. I'm going to pour it in quite slowly though, because I don't want to knock these bungs over. And I want to get it so as it's about, I don't know, wants to be a good 1/2 centimetre or something, 1/4 inch, whatever measurements you work in, over the point, because you don't want a weak spot there. So I might need to mix up a little bit more. I'm going to weigh this when I finish, because we need to for the postage anyway. But yeah, I need to know where I'm at in terms of how much silicone it's used, and then obviously what the postage cost's going to be, because I've been asked by a few people for this mould and I was a bit reluctant to go ahead and do it, but I have someone being my kind of guinea pig for it. So let's see how this goes. Right, I'm just going to mix up a bit more, chuck it in, and then we'll be back for the demold basically, and I'll show you how I take these bungs out, and then obviously we'll have a look at what we've got in terms of our little mould itself. Right, this has had stacks of time to cure now, so let's see what we've got. Oh, say leakage wise, oh, there's a little bit there, a little bit. Nothing major. You can see how much leakage we get by the little pile of bits I put over here, can't we? Just it'd stick to me. I must just say thank you so much to my customer for being patient with this. She knew she was being my guinea pig, seemed to make her smile rather. For guinea pig for basically pricing this up and getting it to a position where I would actually know what it would cost to post. So it's been a case of really refining making these, to be honest. I wasn't originally going to make them to sell because they're just going to be too damned expensive, I think, to post. But we'll see. Oops. So as you can see, that's the leakage from underneath. Now, all this waste silicone, I chuck it in a little pot and I do chop it up and use it. New pot to start, actually. There we are. I do chop it up and use it for when I'm making moulds just for myself. I use it to do any infills. Now, I've definitely got a bit of escape going on, only a little bit. So actually, although I didn't think this fitted together terribly well, it's very successful. There's no doubt the Let's Resin one fits together better. Then this does this, oops, this does this two-story trick a lot easier than the Let's Resin one does. So whichever you've got, I think that's the message, folks, whichever you've got, one way or another, you can stack your mould forming frames. This one does it easier, and it's quite cheap. Mind you, the Let's Resin one, again, not expensive. Not expensive at all. I think my bit of used many times over and over transfer tape has finally bit the dust. Amazing how many of your, what you would think are one-use craft materials actually aren't, isn't it? So this is all cleaning up easy while it's still in the frame, which is handy. Does any get underneath? No, not really. Good. That makes that bit of cleanup a doddle. Now I do it in this order. I found that I get the frames off first. Yeah, see, look, a little bit of leakage, but that's easy to clean up. Yeah, frames come off first, and then we can easily do the cleanup and get all the stuff out. Yeah, it's only a little bit gone between the pieces, and it just pulls straight off. I'm surprised. Really am surprised. So you've got some choices then, folks. I think we've got a verdict on the mould making frame, haven't we? I think we definitely have. It's good. It's just a shame the pieces aren't interchangeable with, you know, that won't interact with the Let's Resin ones. I'll have to have an experiment. They might actually, if I try hard enough. But we'll see. I'm surprised, considering they didn't seem to fit together as beautifully as the posh one. That's amazing. Silicone's incredible stuff to work with anyway, isn't it? This silicone, although it's really nice and runny, it starts to set up very quickly, so it takes the form well, and if you do get any leakage, it doesn't go too far. It's brilliant. Right, the easiest way I found, I got black on me from. Easiest way I found to get the bungs out is do that. Press down all around it first, and then just go pop. And they will have saved, I haven't weighed them, but they've saved a fair old bit. They're just made out of polyurethane resin actually, which is lighter than, which would be lighter than silicone anyway. But that, 4 of those has saved quite a chunk of resin, of silicone rather. Get my words right. So we can just pop all those out. Then we can pop the pyramid out, and we have got a mould. That's looking good, isn't it? Pleased with that. I'll run my craft knife around a little bit, just get tidy up these loose bits. But otherwise, yeah, let's get the pyramid out. This should demold really easily. Yeah. And there we are, a little bit of trimming, and we have a perfect mould. So, can I just say, thumbs up for this little mould kit, the frame kit. I'll put you the link for it below. I'll also put you the link for the Let's Resin one, because if you're only doing single story moulds ever, I think that so you don't need this double edge. I think the Let's Resin one does fit together better. So of the two, I would favour that. However, if you're wanting to do taller moulds, then this is a really great option. This kit is really good. So I'll put you the links for both below. And what else will I put the links for? The silicone. That's the other thing to put the link for, isn't it? Okay, I think we have a thumbs up with our product test. So if you found this in any sort of way helpful, I think there's a few of you out there that like to have a go at making moulds, then do let me know. Give me a thumbs up. You know where the subscribe button and everything is anyway, don't you? Just click some of these. That'd be great. Thanks. Leave me some comments as well. I'm going to have a go at making some awkward shaped moulds soon. You know, but where your originals are awkward shaped. I mean, this is obviously quite a nice, easy shape. So let me know if there's anything in particular that you've had trouble with mould making. I'll see if maybe I can come up with some solutions. I am no professional mould maker, but I'm getting quite a dab hand at coming up with creative ways of doing them. So I'll have a go. I'll have a go for you. Right, I'll see you for the next one, folks.